You are listening to a Path to a New You podcast about mental health as well as veterans issues. In today's episode, I want to talk about boundaries. I want to talk about keeping your cool when pushy people don't respect you and or your boundaries. I think this is a very important topic. This happened to me a lot last year. Um, let's get into it. Setting boundaries is an important skill, but boundaries aren't always respected. It can be frustrating when a boundary is ignored or challenged, but it is also your responsibility to stay calm. Just stay calm in the situation, and then things might just get better. But yeah, it's your job to stay calm in certain situations. In my personal experience, it's been extremely difficult to stay calm when someone wants to push my boundaries or someone who doesn't take no for an answer. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in this episode as well. I got some tips I found online and some of my own tips where this actually might help in your situation. The first tip I have: reframe pushiness as a learned behavior and a skill deficit. It is likely that person has learned from the past experience that pushing harder gets them what they want. In my personal situation, I've had a few people who, in the past were, I could say, in the military, and they were higher ranked. And they pretty much got what they want while they were active duty. So they keep pushing and pushing, and eventually the other person's gonna say, you know what, I'll do it, fine, whatever. But in this case, I've had a situation where I guess there's an organization that has a lot of veterans, and I do a lot of volunteer work, and I was nominated to be part of the board. I guess you can say it's a board, but it's more like officer for that organization. And the person in charge of that, the upper person, top of that, would never take no for an answer. She would not say no. She wouldn't care. This person would not care. I'm not going to name names because maybe some of you are listening know what I'm talking about or know who I'm talking about. Anyway, being that person who was in charge, been in the military for, I'd say, 3 decades. That person was higher ranking, and in the military, if you're higher ranking, you tell someone who's a lower rank than you to do something, you have to do it. Well, again, this veteran organization is a volunteer organization, and stuff hit the fan, I guess you can say. I guess you can say I butted heads with a lot of people. A lot of them still have that military mentality where they've been in for 20, 30 years and they got what they want. It's not like that anymore. And I try to tell them that, you know what, you're not in the military anymore. And you gotta realize people need space, people have boundaries, and you need to respect that. It's hard for a lot of people, I'll tell you. So yeah, reframe pushiness as a learned behavior and a skill deficit. So it's like that person has learned from the past experience that pushing harder gets them what they want. So again, for an instance, someone in the military who's been in the military for like 30 years, they were higher ranking. The military is more of you do what I tell you or else type thing. So doing that for 30 years, it's hard to change. So I get what that person's going through. Reframing pushy behavior as a skill deficit won't necessarily solve your immediate problem, but it can keep you from personalizing others' pushiness and also might allow room for compassion. Again, reframing pushy behavior as a skills deficit won't necessarily solve your immediate problem, but it can keep you from personalizing others' pushiness and also might allow room for compassion. Number two, be your own activist. It's possible that someone's pushiness is fueled by a bias toward or aspect of your identity. Let's say a supervisor, military supervisor, anything like that. They're a supervisor, they're in charge. They take that for granted and then they tell you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm the boss. It's do it or else. So again, that military style, supervisor style, CEO, like that. I know a lot of CEOs or people who own businesses who are not like that, but I know a few who are like that. So they take advantage of it, and they know you're going to have to do it, or else, they can fire you, or you can get in trouble for not doing it. Again, it's a military style thing. So being an activist, just know, what? You know yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to step back. Step back. Look at the situation. That person is going to continue doing what he or she is doing. And it's your job to just step back. Just, what? Just walk away or something. Or that, you can just always find another job too, a different job. Or if you're in an organization where you're volunteering a lot, step back from all the volunteering you're doing. Example, last year I volunteered a lot with that organization. And then it caused my mental health and physical health to go to crap. I don't want to swear on this, but my mental health and physical health went to crap because of what happened last year in 2024. So, because I was always there at the VFW. If I wasn't working, I was there. I was helping out. And the overall person in charge, that person was do it or else type thing. And I take no for an answer. So yeah, my mental health and physical health went to crap because of that. And now I've stepped back quite a bit. So you know what? I got 2 obligations I still need to do. I agreed to them, and that's it. So yeah, anyway, be an activist. You know what you need to do. You take care of yourself. You know what? You got to respect. You got to know, some people will not respect your boundaries, or those who will not take no for an answer. And you just got to have to find a way to just stay away from them, or just try to step back. And I just step back. It's helped me a lot. I just step back. I just don't talk to that person much anymore. And to be honest, I'm not even at that organization that much anymore. I'm only there when I need to be. Another thing is you could also revisit feelings about boundary setting. So, for example, that person who's not respecting your boundary, it's possible that person may have a little compassion, didn't realize what he or she was doing, but also it could not. Also it could be that person really just doesn't care. So again, revisit feelings about boundary setting. Consider the pushy person's so-called bark might be louder than their bite. Consulting with a trusted peer colleague might help you gain clarification about actual versus perceived risks. So, you could sit down with that person, if this person, and maybe talk to him. That could help. In my situation, it didn't. That person, I keep seeing she. I don't want to say that, but I just want to say that person would not take no for an answer and even try to sit down with them. that person. That person would not take it. That person just doesn't understand. Again, you got to realize this person I'm talking about, this person's been in the military for over 30 years. So she has that mentality. And that's, I guess, with that organization I'm talking about, say, a veteran organization, and that's where they're struggling with finding new members, younger members. The younger members don't want to do that. Anyway, revisit feelings about boundary setting is number 3. Number 4, I love doing this. You know what? It's an argument, but you know what? For me, it works. This person may just, you know what? My bad. Number 4, call out the behavior. It can be helpful to explicitly tell the person that they are not respecting boundaries you have set. And that could become into a huge argument depending on that person, but you know what? Call that person out. Lately, in the last couple of years and stuff, I've called people out on their BS. I've called them out on it. A lot of people don't like being called out on it, and they may feel like they may be upset. You know what? Maybe they feel guilty afterwards if you call them out. That's one thing you can do, is call them out on it. And I've done that several times. You just got to realize some people just don't understand how boundaries work. People just don't respect it because, you know, their authoritative, they're higher up, they're ranking higher up in the business. They don't respect a no for an answer because, you know, they take that authoritative personally. It's a do this or else type thing. To be honest, I don't like those kind of people. I try to stay away from them. And so far, it's in the last 2 months, it's actually worked for me. I just step back. I go to work, and then I only go to that veteran organization when I need to. There's 2 days a month where I'm obligated to be there. So anyway, I hope maybe you learned something. If not, I guess I apologize. I hope you learned something. Again, I don't know you. You know yourself. If there's ways where you can get your boundaries respected, and maybe there's a way where you can talk to someone you're struggling with who's not respecting your boundaries. There's a ton of different ways where you can do it. I'm just telling you how I've done my part in my situations. Again, you can find this podcast on most streaming platforms. It's free to listen to. Click on the upper right or upper left. There's a little bell, like notification. Click on that, so every time there's a new episode, you get notified about it. Also, if you could, I've asked people this before, if you could rate my episode and then review it, let me know, hey, what I can do better. Please do it. The more ratings I have, the better, the more my podcast goes out there. I would like for more people to see my podcast so that maybe they can learn more about mental health issues as well as veteran issues. So please rate and review. The more ratings I have, the more popular it becomes in Spotify, Amazon Music, and all that. And the more popular it becomes, the more people see it, and maybe the more people who listen. Again, right now, I think I only have 1 rating on Spotify. and there's only one. I know several people said, "Hey, I've listened to your Spotify, your podcast." I'm like, please rate and review. I know it's been a minute since I've done an episode. I've been busy. I'm gonna try to do one, maybe at least one every 2 weeks. I do have a couple ideas of other episodes. Anyway, you are listening to A Path to New You, a podcast about mental health as well as veterans issues. If you know anyone or you'd like to be a guest on my podcast, please reach out. I'm looking for more people, more guests, someone who specializes in a certain topic. Even if you're a veteran and you want to talk about your experience in the military, please reach out. I do have a Facebook page for Path to New You as well, and I'll post it in my comment area where I talk about the topic of the episode. Anyway, thank you for listening, and until next time, have a good rest of the day. And until next time, please be well.